Welcome back to South Today's Sport, continuing our review of the Stag season with Brad Moore, the coach of that team. And Brad, let's just go straight into the player analysis. We'll start with the outside backs. We mentioned Junior yesterday. He's one of the big improvers and ones that caught the eye, so you'd be happy with his hit out.
Yeah. Look, he's he doesn't really have a ceiling on where he can get to. I think it's up to him. So the amount of work that he'll put in and what sacrifices he'll make for his rugby career, I think he's had an outstanding season. Started strongly, finished strongly. I think we just freshened him up in the middle part there, and then he came back really strong in the last couple of games. So really pleased with his efforts, and it's great to see him get recognised with the opportunity to go up to the Highlanders for part of this December period, which hopefully will lead into a little bit more for him.
Mark Jackman, a bit of an unsung hero because he filled in a lot of gaps for you and did them very well, and I thought you could see the confidence gaining as the season progressed. Consummate
professional. Just the shop window for this is how you should look after yourself and prepare for your games, nutrition-wise, training, rest, game preparation, etc. And massive for us. Look, played at outside centre, both wings and at fullback, and never let us down. He was one of the first to be inked in the 15 each week, and I think he did a really good job for us. We talk a lot. We had in the campaign about unrewarded running and work off the ball, and he is consistently topping those areas. So creating space for others was huge, and at times he was on the end of that space being created. So he was massive.
We're excited about the potential of Keanu Kahukura, who had some brilliant moments and then sort of came in and out of the team. What's his future in your eyes? Oh,
I think he's got a very bright future. We've just concluded discussions with him that'll see him be here for the next couple of years, and I think that's great news for him and us. I mean, he showed that he's an ITM Cup level player, and now can really put the work in to become an even better athlete and look at the next levels up for him. I think that he worked really hard, and it was hard for him at the beginning of the season because he wasn't getting his opportunities. But he never dropped the bottom lip and continued to put the work in. And the message was, when your opportunity comes, you will be ready. And sure enough, huge game against Northland.
Absolutely. And just a brief mention too of the other end of the age scale. We've got Brian Milne, who came in and never missed a beat. Really, we're not expected to play much part of the campaign, I would think. Yeah, look,
he again, a guy who just took his chance when it came up and got the start against Canterbury and never let it go. So great lesson there for young and old. I think he would have liked to have played a bit more in the midfield, but it just wasn't what was going to happen for him as it panned out. So the opportunity he got was on the wing, and a couple of set-piece tries, and he's a very, very good, coachable young man. You ask him to run a line, he runs a line.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about that midfield, because we had a couple of contrasts in seasons. We had Willis Halahola, who built on last year and been recognised at the Hurricanes, and Carter Vainga, who wasn't able to and sort of missed out Super Rugby. So what's your view on those two?
Yeah, I think it comes down to momentum and opportunities at different stages and taking those. So Willis came into the campaign fired up and ready to go, and as it turned out, we didn't start him in the first game against Bay of Plenty, so just fueled the fire a little bit more, and he came on and was dynamic when he came on, so deserved to start in the next couple of games. He's done really well, and clearly, like everybody can see, a dynamic player with the ball in hand, and knows that his work-ons are without the ball, and making sure that the energy levels are there and the work rate without the ball, and I think we saw a really good improvement there from him, so it's good credit to him in that respect. And Cardiff, again, played well in that first game against Bay of Plenty, and then he got an injury. He injured his ankle, and just came at bad time for him, because I think he was really motivated and got that injury that allowed a different combination to settle in, and just sort of the momentum starts to roll away.
No doubt the star of the team, or one of the stars, Sopawang, we won't spend much time on that. I think his credentials proved its worth. But I'd like to talk inside that, the halfback situation. Neither player quite cemented that number 9 jersey just yet. Well,
I think for the season's point of view, Scotty E clearly cemented the spot. I think he started in 9 of the 10 games, or 10 of the 11. Anyway, all bar one, with Taylor starting against Tasman.
Were you convinced, though, that he's a 9 forever? I mean, good moments, I agree, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Yeah, I think that his future is as a 9, and I think that we can't underestimate the difficulty in the transition from 10 to 9. Two very, very different positions, and you only need to speak to a guy like John Preston, who managed to do it at the top level, how hard it is. So,
particularly coming in, John started and went out, and so Peruipu, but it's really tough on the guy.
Very tough, and I think he did really well with it. And what he will learn from this year and all the experience he's going to gain is that to be playing at halfback, he needs to be playing there for a starter. So he makes that decision and makes that work for him. Secondly, it becomes a really intuitive position, and the only way that you gain that is from experience. So normally if you're picking a fellow to play halfback, in your Stag side, he's probably played at halfback for 8 or 9 seasons as a kid and through school, into club footy and all of that. Whereas Scotty's, really add them up, it probably wouldn't equal a season of rugby at 9. So I think he's done really well and will benefit hugely from that season. Taylor, he just probably didn't take his opportunities and
definitely untapped potential there, isn't there?
Yeah,
it looks exciting, but it can't quite sort of deliver when you want to.
Yeah, there's an athlete in there, and I think it comes back to core role. So really, was desperate for our halfbacks to provide was good passing, let the backs have the good ball, and the other stuff can happen when it's right. So make sure you get the core roles done first.
We mentioned yesterday the contribution of Hardy and Boys, who never let the team down, but I did want to pick out of the loose forwards Elliot Dixon, who not only put in a huge super season, he continued it on, not all super players do that, and then played very well for the Maori, so he's had a magnificent 12 months. Yeah,
huge, isn't it? So hopefully he's given a really well-earned rest right now, because his body will be sore and he'll be mentally tired, and he'll need to freshen up and be dealt with really well in December and early January. Yeah, big for us, and I really see a really potential leader in Elliot. I think he leads in different ways than the traditional leader, but when he speaks, he's listened to, because it doesn't happen often, and he speaks sense, and he's a good thinker of the game. Played some good rugby for us, and I think enjoyed the change in style and whatnot. He took our most line-outs, and a lot of the things don't get seen. But he was ticking all the boxes for us and had a really good season. And it's really tough for guys who have worked very hard in Super Footy as well. Lots of game time, then had lots of game time ITN Cup, because they are the leading players for your side, and he did well.
All right, let's look at the locks, and particularly I want to talk about Michael Fatilofa, who looks a genuine athlete. He again didn't quite have the commanding presence that a lock needs to. Is that in the future for you? Yeah,
I think that what I understand from Fats is that similar thing that happened this year happened last year. So started well, and then started to drop off. So look, you talk about an athlete. We definitely see an athlete in him. The keys for him are becoming really physical all the time, rather than just some of the time, and I think that he again is someone that certainly hasn't reached his potential, but is a player who, if he does reach his potential, he'll go to the next level.
But overall, I'm not naming names, but just the percentage of the squad that you're expecting back, a high percentage? Yeah,
a high percentage back. That's very, very important. It's one of the strategies set out at the start of when I got down here, so the start of my term, is I don't want to be in the position of recycling numbers for the sake of it, and to take a strategic look. So there might be, we were looking at guys, a succession planning situation. We've had a campaign together. I've been here, I know the players, I know the club scene, etc. So there'll still be competition for places, but obviously with guys performing and doing well, you don't want them heading off to another union when they're guys you want to keep with you.
Excellent. Thank you, Brad, for your time. And it's been a wonderful chance to have a detailed review. I look forward to your progress next season.
Thanks, Tom.
That's the South Today tonight. See you tomorrow.